I realized there are unique, outrageous acts of love that can be committed by me and me alone, and that is the unique purpose, obligation, joy, and responsibility. It's my ability to respond to reality. That's my outrageous act of love.
A planetary awakening in love through a unique self-symphony.
What a privilege it is to be part of this global community.
There's a voice within me that asks, who am I, right? Who am I in all of this?
Each and every one of us has a unique gift to give that we desperately need.
Welcome to the heart of the revolution, everyone. It is with deep joy that we are together today in one mountain, many paths. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and welcome. Our mission is what Barbara Marx Hubbard and Dr. Marc Gafni call a planetary awakening in love through unique self-symphonies. We are activating a new humanity, and we are awakening as a new species, Homo Amor, the fulfillment of Homo sapiens. As a church, a synagogue, a mosque, a temple, a zendo, no one is excluded, everyone is included, and we come together to attune to the evolutionary impulse awakening within us. I am Christina Tahel, the co-executive producer, along with Krista Josefa, Jamie Long, and Jacqueline Clark, and we are all completely delighted to be together with each and every one of you today for our live community broadcast of week 324. What a privilege it is to be part of a global community where we contribute to humanity's flourishing. Use the Zoom and the Facebook chat functions to say hello, to let us know where you're from, to speak your prayers, and to resonate the Dharma. On Zoom, do check that your chat settings say everyone so that we can all hear from you. Care to step deeper into community through the work and practice of creating the great Homo Amor library? Do reach out to Krista, whose email is in the chat box now for more information. And on the Great Library, our Great Library book, Glory to the Heroes, 4 weeks of the Russia-Ukraine war for the sake of value and the arousal of the West beyond moral equivalence by Dr. Marc Gafni and with Elena Maslova-Levine, has been published on Amazon as an ebook and is free for the next 5 days. Do download the book for yourself and your friends, and do please write a review on Amazon. We have picked the dates for the Mystery School in Europe, August 21st to 25th. We will gather as revolutionaries and as outrageous lovers at our beautiful castle in Belgium. Save the dates, and early bird tickets are now available. Study and practice the sacred text, A Return to Eros, in our next co-study group with Jamie Long and myself. We start on the 3rd Saturday of January. Email Jamie Long for more details. Jamie and I warmly welcome you into a journey of mastery into the Dharma of a return to Eros. What to expect today? First, a Dharma recap for myself from last week's Dharma teaching. Then Dr. Tom Ronen resonates our evolutionary love codes that we're working with. Then Dr. Marc will set our intention. Then we will step into our Hanukkah Dharma, candles, song, and chant. then our Christmas Dharma and a surprise chant from Jax, then Dharma and Evolutionary Family with the sermon from Dr. Marc, and then we move into meditation to enter prayer. Krista invites us deeper into community at the end, and to close, we will bring people on for our goodbyes and a short dance party. We consciously decide we won't forcefully try to end at a certain time, but promise fullness and explosion, to let magic evolve, to serve the evolutionary process, and we will do our best to end around 11 a.m. Pacific time. Of course, if you need to leave early, please do, and we look forward to being with you next week. And on that note, I do want to say a lot of people are out because of the holiday today, and we miss every one of you as you are watching the replay of this week. I welcome all who are new. We need you. If this is your first time, these teachings do stand on their own, and every week's teachings does build on the week before. So we do encourage you to listen to previous episodes. You will hear unique language. Trust the magic ways the language or Dharma comes through your understanding. One Mountain, Many Paths is radically committed to telling the new universe story. Now for my recap from last week. The evolution of conscious evolution. We begin to understand that conscious evolution doesn't mean that evolution first becomes conscious through the human being. There is some dimension of the evolutionary process that's always been conscious. A deeper understanding of science is that there is value and meaning all the way down and all the way up the evolutionary chain. Evolution was always conscious. Now, does that mean that atoms experience meaning like human beings do? No, it doesn't. However, there is both continuity of value and continuity of meaning all the way up and all the way down the evolutionary chain, meaning evolution before the human being wasn't evolution by chance. There is an inherent consciousness to evolution. There is a love intelligence without which it is impossible to make sense of cosmos. We are talking about an inherent love intelligence of cosmos that clearly has direction, telos. There are inherent first principles and first values, which are the plot lines of the universe story. And there is an even deeper emergence, a jump to a deeper understanding of value when we emerge from the biosphere, life, to the depth of the self-reflective human, and meaning and value evolve. We become aware that evolution is conscious in us, that we are evolution. We become aware of the entire story of evolution. We can locate ourselves as we look at our story as chapter and verse in the evolutionary story. We understand that evolution is animated by Eros, and therefore our story is a love story. We understand that our love story is chapter and verse in the love story of evolution, that evolution is the love story of the universe. Conscious evolution is validated through evolutionary science, where we realize that every muon and every hadron and every lepton, proton, neutron, electron, every atom and every molecule and every macromolecule and all the stages of organismic evolution, they all live in us. All of the physiosphere, all of matter, all of the biosphere, all of life actually lives in us. All previous structure stages of humanity live in each of us uniquely. We don't live in evolution. Evolution lives in us. Evolution is a coherent process animated by intelligence. We have to tell this new story of value, where we go so deep into the evolutionary sciences and read the science so deeply that science begins to tell the story of the Eros of evolution, that we actually understand that evolution is animated by Eros, by evolutionary love, and that we as human beings are evolutionary love in person, and that evolution is the progressive deepening of intimacies, and that intimacy means something. Evolution doesn't first become conscious through human beings. That neo-Darwinian synthesis is actually dead in science and needs to be broken with. Not to any form of intelligent design, a superimposed intelligent design, but to a much deeper understanding of the universe story. Again, evolution was always conscious. Now, I invite us to more deeply enter into the holy and sacred spaces of one mountain, many paths, and I turn my word to you, Dr. Tom Ronen.
Thank you, Christina Tahel. It's a delight to be with you all this morning. We have two codes today. Here's the first. Biological family is wondrous, and we are committed to it. Evolutionary family or soul root family is not less and sometimes even more significant. We need to be at the very least as committed to our evolutionary family as we are to our biological family, and often much more so. It is before your evolutionary family that you can confess your greatness, take your unique risk, speak and live your deepest heart's desire, and be seen in the depth of your true glory. We will not be able to respond to existential risk without making the momentous leap from only biological family to evolutionary and soul root family. Our second code is as follows. Every religion has a unique self. The unique self of a religion is the intimate quality of meaning and meeting between the infinite and the finite that is particular to that religion. That unique quality of intimacy is irreducible and utterly needed in the great unique self-symphony of spirit. The rituals of religion are not the surface structures of a religion, but rather the unique intimate expression of that religion's erotic embrace of divinity. And now I turn my word to you, Dr. Marc.
Oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, everyone. We are in celebration. This is celebration moment. This is a massive, huge, and gorgeous celebration moment. And Jacqueline, you asked me not to play with the camera, so I apologize for that playing with the camera. Right? Thank you, Tom, for a beautiful resonance of the code. And let's have both codes in the chat box. And thank you, Christina, for a stunning Dharma recapitulation. This week, I want to just welcome everyone and welcome myself and welcome every part of ourselves and welcome everyone all over the world from Europe and Asia and Africa and across the United States. And we are in this moment in celebration. And celebration really matters. You know, we've spent a lot of time here. We've spent the last decade deep in an understanding of the Metacrisis. And the Metacrisis, we mean existential risk. We mean catastrophic risk. We mean the ways that we're poised before a potential dystopia, but we also realize that we're poised before a potential utopia, right? We have in this moment in which these two paths diverge in the woods, we have the possibility not just to protest, but to act, and to act effectively, and to act judiciously, and to act with discernment, and to act with precision. Remember in that epic of modern storytelling, which is the most heard story of the late 20th, early 21st century, called Star Wars, there's a moment in which the Death Star, and the Death Star is the culture of death, needs to be taken down, needs to be exploded. But the rebels, and we're the rebels, right? We don't have the manpower, we don't have the horsepower, we don't have enough resources. And so how do we do it? And the only way to do it is to score Star Wars cultural text, episode 6, movie 3. You have to score a direct hit on the Death Star. And what's that direct hit? That direct hit is to actually evolve the source code itself, to actually participate in the articulation of a new story of value, rooted in first principles and first values, evolving first principles and first values that actually change the vector of history itself. And for those of you, right, and those parts of us that feel like, oh, we're pragmatic realists, that couldn't really happen. Well, that's not a realistic approach, because actually the nature of the real is that actually when you understand history, it's only a new story of value that has consistently and always changed the vector of the real. It's precisely the telling of a new story. And that's exactly what happened, for example, in the Renaissance, in that time between worlds, in that time between stories, in which the Black Death swept Europe in distended stomachs and bloated corpses and rotted flesh, marked and littered the streets of Europe and Asia and Eurasia. What actually a group of people understood in Florence and in the Medici family, right? They understood there's something to be done here. We can't get to heal every individual piece of suffering because we don't have the resources, but we need to actually heal the root source of the suffering by actually invoking, telling, articulating a new story of value. And as we've said here many, many times before, that new story of value was modernity. And modernity introduced universal human rights, and modernity healed slavery, and modernity introduced the scientific method, and modernity gave voice to the feminine. And as we've said, and say the words with me, because you know the words, this is ours together. We're doing this together. We're in unique self symphony together in this think tank as this band of evolutionary lovers, as this Renaissance band. Say the words with me, because you know the next words. To the precise extent that modernity got the plot line right, they actually introduced the great dignities of modernity. But to the precise extent that modernity got the plot line wrong, that actually the followers, or those who followed Da Vinci and Ficino in the Renaissance and began to tell the story of modernity, to the precise extent that they actually got the plot line wrong, that they missed key pieces of the story, like, for example, what is intrinsic value, and what's a new theory of value, and how do we actually ground universal human rights in the values of cosmos itself, and how do, after we throw out religion, which needed to be in certain forms thrown out, how do we articulate a new shared grammar of value that's actually real, that actually we can trust, right? How do we actually articulate a new vision of human personhood and human dignity and human divinity? How do we actually re-understand our relationship to source? None of that was done. So much was left out. The assumption was we could just borrow the social capital of the traditional world, explode its underlying assumptions, but just pretend that we hadn't, and let the general principles of the Western Enlightenment, reason, fraternity, liberty, justice, those would be enough. We don't need to root them in an actual ground of value. We can just call them self-evident truths. Well, self-evident truths doesn't cut it. We actually need to articulate a new story of value that actually is worth its salt, that actually is rooted in deep, profound understanding. We need to reclaim not just the eye of the senses and the eye of the mind, but the eye of consciousness, the eye of spirit, the eye of the heart, the eye of value, and to understand that all of these perceptions need to be woven together. And that deconstruction of value, that abandonment of the Tao, of living in the field of Eros, desire, and value that's real, that actually is the root cause of the global intimacy disorder, which is the cause of the multipolar traps and the rivalrous conflicts governed by win-lose metrics that drive all of existential risk, that drive all of catastrophic risk. If you want to understand how to heal this, not just to be on a soapbox and scream, although soapboxes have their place, but if you actually want to heal this, if you want to actually address suffering, we have to tell this new story. Now, here's the thing. We can't tell this new story unless we're in celebration. So this week is not going to be about metacrisis issues, economic or political or social. This week's going to be about celebration, because we need the technology of celebration in order to be able to address the metacrisis. If not, we become bitter. We become frayed at the edges. We need to reclaim our second innocence. We need to reclaim our joy. We need to reclaim our joy and our capacity to celebrate in order to be able to take our seat at the table of history and address the metacrisis. We need to be able to sing and to sit in silence and to chant and to be in the holy days in order to walk through the void. Because it's only by bracketing our tendency to avoid dance, to dance around the void. It's only by walking through the void in full celebration that we avoid the bitterness that actually cripples all revolutions. And we can't afford to be crippled now. Remember Langston Hughes, right? The wonderful Black poet who wrote a poem called Harlem. And in Harlem, he says, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? So today we're not deferring the dream. Today we are celebrating. Today we're celebrating. So welcome everyone. We're celebrating, and we're celebrating with the wild, crazy joy of the great traditions. And the great traditions, the great religions, they got a lot wrong. They did a lot of ethnocentric hijacking. We own the truth, no one else does. They didn't understand yet the new methods of science because pre-modernity didn't understand them. They got confused between their rituals, which were often surface structures, and their deep depth structures of true knowing. Yes, that's true. The great traditions, the great religions got a lot wrong, but they also knew in their deepest interior sciences how to access the eye of spirit and the eye of value that intuits and knows value deep in our interiors, right? The eye of consciousness, right? And the eye of the heart. And they knew how to celebrate. And often the celebration was way too limited and not everyone was included, and it was us and them. They made lots of tragic mistakes, but we need to liberate the spark of the sacred that lived in the old religions and to create together a new world spirituality, a new shared language of spirit, a universal grammar of value as the context for our diversity. And so we're about celebration today. We're not deferring the dream today. You see, we can only change the world if we're willing to already live in the world that's already changed. Otherwise, we become bitter. Otherwise, we become contracted. Something rots in our souls. When we say we're committed, right, to the pain, yeah, we're committed to the pain. We're also got to be committed to the joy. We've got to laugh out of one side of our mouth and cry out of the other side of our mouth. You know, I grew up in a family which lost most of its members to the gas chambers. So I know a little bit about crying. I grew up myself under intense conditions of suffering. So I know a little bit about suffering. And so do you. You know, we know how to suffer. And we know that there's malevolence. And we know that there are forces in the world that are operating in ways that need to be roundly challenged, opposed, and exposed. But friends, there's also massive goodness and massive joy. And there's billions of people in the world who are filled with goodness and truth and beauty. And there's billions of acts of kindness done every day. And the world itself pulses with joy. Right? There's an ode to joy. There's a pulse of joy that lives in reality itself. There's a light in the world. There are structures of allurement that bring us together. There is an impulse of joy that is actually the actual fabric of Eros that animates the cosmorotic universe. And we as human beings participate in that cosmorotic universe. So today, we're in celebration. And if you have a glass, who's got a glass? If you got a glass, let's raise our glass. Let's raise our glass, everybody. Who's got a glass? If you got a glass, if not, just pick it up as if. Right? Imagination is better than being there. We have a glass, right? Cheers, everyone. Salute. Celebrating you, celebrating we, celebrating the unique self-symphony, celebrating the joy, celebrating the dream. And today we're here to live the dream. And we're here to tell the story of the dream. We're going to tell the story through the prism of Hebrew wisdom, and we're going to tell the story through the prism of Hanukkah. Cheers in the chat box. Do we have cheers in the chat box? Who's got cheers in the chat box? Let's find each other in the chat box. Raising our glass. Salud. L'chaim. Right? To life. Let's feel everyone. Let's feel it across the world. Let's blow it open. Let's blow our hearts open. Let's love this moment open. Let's love this moment open with the joy that's already here, with the goodness, the truth, the beauty of people all over the world, right? Joy to the world, right? Joy to the world. L'chaim, 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 l'chaim. Salud. And we're going to begin today, friends, with Hanukkah. Are we ready? So this is our first Dharma today. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And can we welcome each other? Can we just go to the chat box for a second? Just welcome each other. Just cry out welcome to each other, right? Because to know that we're welcome, there's nothing deeper than knowing that we're welcome, right? The most important question in the world is, are we welcome? We are welcome. You know, when someone does something for us, we say, wow, right? Thank you. And what do they say back to us? They say, you're welcome. And you're welcome means that the thank you, when we say thank you, we don't owe each other. It's not a manipulative debt. No. Thank you for doing that for me. And the other person says, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's my joy to exchange with you as lovers, as outrageous lovers in this cosmo-erotic universe. And by outrageous love, we mean not love, which is a strategy of the ego, but love, which is the heart of existence itself. Love's not mere human sentiment. Love is the heart of existence itself. And the heart of existence itself is, right, this quality of Eros, or what we call outrageous love. And as we say so often here, we live in a world of outrageous pain, and we never turn away from outrageous pain. But the only response to outrageous pain is outrageous love. So here we are. We're a think tank. That's our public guise. And we're a think tank, and we do, right? We're acting as a think tank. We're acting as a leading edge think tank in the world, addressing the Metacrisis with every bit of seriousness, gravitas, and joy. And we need to resource that think tank exponentially to have the right capacity to actually launch what needs to be launched. But right underneath the think tank, we're actually something deeper. We're a spiritual society. We're a political society of joy. We're a band of outrageous lovers. So as that band, with your permission, everyone, I want to say something about Hanukkah. And then we're going to actually light the Hanukkah candles. And then we're going to say something about Christmas. And then we're going to sing some Christmas. And we're going to do some Christmas Dharma. So first, Hanukkah. So this is, anybody aware of this? This is what day of Hanukkah? Anybody know? You might be from the Hebrew tribe, or you might have friends from the Hebrew tribe, or you might just know this. This is day 7. Day 7 of Hanukkah. Tonight is the 8th night of Hanukkah. And 8 always is that which is precisely beyond 7. That's why Leonard Cohen, right, talks about the secret chord in the first stanza of Hallelujah. And the secret chord is always in mysticism, the 8th chord, because 8 is beyond 7. 7 is the law of nature, and 8 is the miracle that inheres in nature. 8 is the Eros, 8 is the love. 8 is the plot line that tilts towards goodness, truth, and beauty. So what is the story of Hanukkah? So anybody, let's find it together. What's the story of Hanukkah? So the story of Hanukkah, now stay close, friends, okay? And this is wonderful. The story of Hanukkah takes place about 160 before the Common Era. And the way the story's told is, after Caesar dies and the great empire is split into two, and part of it is in Greek Syria, and part of it is in Alexandria. And in Greek Syria, the Seleucid Empire rules, and they come to conquer Judea. And Judea is where the temple lives, right? The great temple of Judea, the temple which has the cherubs above the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy of Holies. And the Greek Syrians come and they defile the temple. That's the story that's told. And in the temple, there's a menorah, there's a candelabra. And the candelabra needs to be lit with pure oil. And so the Greek Syrians come and they conquer the Judeans and they defile all of the oil. So there's no pure oil. And the temple is turned into a Greek amphitheater of kinds, and the great interior science of Hebrew wisdom, of goodness, truth, and beauty, of Eros and love is considered to be over. And all of those who are in the know, all of those who are culturally sensitive become Hellenists, meaning they abandon the lineage and they join this assimilationist trend because they think that power is with the Greek Hellenists and let's go where the power is in order to survive. That's the story. Then this band from this little village outside of Jerusalem, not the aristocratic priests of Jerusalem, but these country priests, they say no. They have a father. There's a father of 5 children named Matityahu, and his first son is called Judah the Maccabee. And they say, no. We're standing for the interior sciences. We're standing for integrity. We're standing for truth. We're standing for goodness. And we know that truth is beauty and beauty is truth, and we can't let this go. And the Greeks have split truth and beauty, and they've split truth and beauty from goodness and from ethos. And we're going to stand for the lineage which says that actually what matters in the world is kindness. What matters in the world is tenderness. What matters in the world is justice. What matters in the world is integrity. And they rebel against the Greek Hellenist rule. And the way the story is told is they succeed in the rebellion. They exile, right? They throw the Greek Hellenists out. They reconsecrate the temple with pure oil. And we commemorate that miracle by lighting the Hanukkah candles. That's the story. Okay, what's the problem with the story? The problem with the story, that's not exactly what happened. Now go slow with me, okay? And we're gonna play with this Dharma just for a couple of minutes. Is everyone ready to go? Are we good? Let's see if we can track this for a second. So one, I'm gonna raise kind of 3 problems. One, so why is Hanukkah 8 days? So the reason that the mystics say that Hanukkah is 8 days, and we talk about this every year, this is part of our tradition, and it's very beautiful, okay? So let's see, it's really beautiful, and let's see if we can kind of find our way here. The reason Hanukkah is 8 days is because in the classical story, when the Hebrews reclaim Jerusalem and they go to reconsecrate the temple, they need to find pure oil. And they only find 1 cruse of oil with enough oil to last for 1 day. And so they light that oil because that's all they have. And in the classical story, that cruse of oil with enough for 1 day lasts for 8 days. Okay, that's why we light the Hanukkah candle for 8 days. That's the story that's taught in the schools. That's the public story. Okay, what's wrong with that? Well, the problem is if that's true, and I'm going to ask this question as kind of a koan question, as we would say in Zen Buddhism. Well, if that's true, meaning if there was enough oil for 1 day and the oil lasted 8 days, so how long should the miracle be? Anybody, how long should the miracle be? Krista, Joseph, how long should the miracle be? It should be 7 days. Does everyone get that? Let's stay really close together. Really close together. How it should be 7 days. Now, again, this is not a real question. This is the way a Zen koan works. You actually ask a question to provoke a deeper understanding. And you kind of need the kind of sing-song of the tradition. Well, if there was enough oil for 1 day and the oil lasted for 8 days, so then the miracle should only be 7 days. So why do we have Hanukkah for 8 days? So what's the miracle of the first day? So stay close, friends. Stay close. What's the miracle of the first day? So the miracle of the first day is our think tank, the Center for Integral Wisdom. It is one mountain. The miracle of the first day is as follows. When everybody got together after the Greek Syrians were defeated, according to the public story, and they found the cruse of oil, which only had enough for one day. So everybody said, well, we can't start lighting the candelabra because we don't have enough resources. We don't have a budget. We don't have everything we need. We only have enough oil for one day, and it's going to give out after one day. So it would be inappropriate to start. Let's wait till we gather all the resources. It might take a few weeks, it may take a couple of years, and then we'll start. And that was the dominant opinion. But then there was one priest who stood up and said, no, we can't wait. We've got to start. And it's only if you're willing to take the first step, if you're willing to light the first candle, and you're willing to trust that somehow the resources will appear, that somehow the miracles will happen, that if you build it, they will come. Right, Jax? What we talked about in our first conversation, if you build it, they will come. Only if you believe if you build it, they will come, and you're willing to light the candle and lay it on the line and believe that somehow resources will appear, somehow possibility will appear, right? Somehow emergence will happen, somehow people will join. That's the miracle of the first day. The miracle of the first day is the willingness to take the first step when you have no idea how to take the steps afterwards. Wow. So who's willing? Who's willing, friends? Who's willing to take the first step? Who's willing to take the first step, even though we know we don't have all the resources, and we know we don't know exactly how to do it, and there's lots of questions, and there's lots of issues, and there's lots of challenges, but we are willing to leap. And leap, and the net will appear. That's Hanukkah. Hanukkah is leap, and the net will appear. Can you feel that? Leap, and the net will appear. If you wait for the net and you don't leap, it's never going to happen. There's 1,000 reasons not to take that first step. There's 1,000 reasons not to trust. There's 1,000 traumas that contract us. There's 1,000 bitternesses, right, that pollute and corrode our soul. But we're going to leap. We're going to leap. We're going to leap, and the net will appear, and we're going to trust each other, and we're going to trust the unique self symphony, and we're going to trust the cosmoerotic universe. And that was the lighting of the first day. So the miracle of the first day is that they lit the oil at all. Now go deeper, friends. Go deeper. You ready to go deeper? Who's ready? Let's go deeper. Who's ready to go deeper? Ready to go deeper? Who's ready? Who's ready? Let's go deeper. We're reclaiming, right, as part of our new world spirituality, the intimate understanding of two traditions today, the Hebrew tradition and the Christian tradition, and we're actually liberating the sparks and making them part of this new grammar of value. So the first piece in the new grammar of value is leap, and the net will appear. It's the miracle of the first day. It's build it, and they will come. And that's what it means to create a field of dreams that people can step into. But now, friends, let's go even deeper. What's the second miracle of Hanukkah? And the second miracle of Hanukkah, excuse me for a moment, the second miracle is even more dramatic. So I'm going to tell you a crazy secret. And this is the story that they never quite tell. The story is that although the way it's told in public is that there's this great victory, that the Maccabees succeed in throwing the Greek Syrians out of Jerusalem, and there's this great triumph, that's only part of the story. See, here's what actually happened. There were 5 Maccabee brothers. 4 of them were killed. The old man died. They won a number of battles. They freed Jerusalem, but then not more than 25 years later, they were defeated. And the Seleucids came back. And the Greek Syrians actually triumphed for a long period of time. But they don't tell that story. But why don't they tell that story? Now, stay close, friends. And this is so deep. So number one, the victory was a partial victory. It was an imperfect victory. It didn't last forever. So the second value of Hanukkah that we liberate from the ancient tradition into the fabric of our new universal grammar of value is the capacity to celebrate partial victories. Can you hear that, friends? It's the capacity to celebrate partial victories. Am I willing to celebrate partial victories? Because, friends, It's always a partial victory. It's always incomplete. It's always a holy and a broken hallelujah. And when you wait for the complete and perfect victory, you die waiting. We step in and we live, and we have the capacity to poignantly celebrate the beauty, the richness, the depth of the holy and the broken hallelujahs. Because there is a blaze of light in everywhere, and it doesn't matter which you heard, the holy or the broken hallelujah. It's a partial victory, and we make a decision. We're going to celebrate the partial victories. That's the second principle of Hanukkah. Now, here's the third principle. Here's the third principle. You ready, everybody? Who's ready? We ready? Third principle? Third principle of Hanukkah. We could have, who's ready? Are we 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 ready? Right? So we could have, friends, beloveds, right, brothers and sisters, we could have told this story as the story of a defeat. But we made a decision to tell this story as a story of triumph. Now, I want you to notice something, and I want to say this gently. When was the last time, friends, that you saw a Greek Syrian Seleucid moving through your neighborhood in Corsica or Virginia, right, or Greece, right, or New York, or upstate New York, or Holland, or Asia, or any place in the United States, or Israel? I see we have a couple of people from Israel. Right? When was the last time you saw a Greek Seleucid? When was the last time you met a Greek Seleucid? When was the last time you met Hellenism at play in your life? You haven't. But friends, all over the world, in these last 8 days, holders of this lineage are lighting Hanukkah candles. So actually, the way we decide to tell the story is, in the end, that which defines everything. It's the story that I decide to tell. And when I decide to actually liberate the spark of joy and to tell that story and to celebrate the miracle, then actually what becomes the fabric of history are Hanukkah candles. The Greek Syrian Seleucid Empire has disappeared. The Babylonians have disappeared. Rome has disappeared. And yet Hanukkah candles remain, because a little bit of light dispels a lot of darkness. Wow. It's the story that we decide to tell. And so, friends, right? Oh my God, I'm just going to take a moment with you, with your permission. And we're actually I'm going to turn the camera, and we're actually going to just take a moment, and we're going to light Hanukkah candles. Okay, let's see if we can see them. Can we see them there? Not really quite. Can we or can't we? Yes, we can. Okay. So we're just going to light some Hanukkah candles together with your permission. And maybe we'll put Ma'os Tzur, right, the actual Hanukkah song, in the chat box. And we're just going to celebrate, and you don't need to be Jewish or Christian or Muslim, right? We're creating a new world spirituality in which we actually take the best of the all. So we're going to light together. Okay? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avoteinu bayamim hahem b'hazman hazeh. Wow. This is the story. These are the candles. This is the miracle, right? This is the joy. This is the moment, right? Wow. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Happy Hanukkah. And it all started with enough just to light one candle. So we're just going to sing one verse of it together. And maybe we can put the whole Ma'os Tzur lyrics in the chat box. Ma'oz tzur Yeshuati. Everyone got it? It's in transliteration there. You can try it. Try it at your home. Ma'oz tzur Yeshuati. Lechana el shabeach. Atikun beit tefilati. V'sham toda nezabeach. Liet Tachin matbeach, mitzar hamnabeach, az egmor b'shir mizmor, echanu kata mizbeach, az egmor b'shir mizmor, echanu kata mizbeach. One more time. Yeshuati. Celebration. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Ma'os tzur Yeshuati. Lechana el shabeach. Atikun beit tefilati. V'sham toda nezabeach. Liet tachin matbeach. Mitzar hamna be'ach, az egmor b'shir mizmor, echanu kata mizbeach, az egmor b'shir mizmor, echanu kata mizbeach. Wow. Are we ready, everybody? Who's ready for the next part? Next 10, 15 minutes. We're now going the next step. Who's ready to go? Who's ready to go? Who's ready to go? Are we ready? This is celebration. What happens to a dream deferred? Langston Hughes and his poet Harlem, does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? We are in celebration. We are living the dream. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, the day that Christ was born. Merry Christmas. What does that mean? What is this silent night? What is this beautiful moment? And so we're going to now go the next step in the Dharma today, and we're going to liberate the sparks of the great Christian tradition. And we're going to take a look at, right, Silent Night. Let's put the words in the chat box. And we're going to actually hear a rendition, right, of Silent Night from a dear friend and new study partner, student, friend of mine, Jackson, who's going to do a rendition of Silent Night. But first, we're going to study together as Jax is getting ready. Silent Night. Okay, so let's take a look, everyone, okay? And this is written in 1818 by a young priest in Austria, right? And he's looking out at the village, and he's looking at all the pain in Europe, and the Napoleon Wars are raging, and he feels this breath of spirit. He feels this breath of possibility. And in this song that he wrote, there's both the glory of Christ consciousness and some of the shadows of early religion. And so we're going to actually read the song, but we're going to read it as an evolutionary song and understand it in its full evolutionary potential. And then Jack's going to come on, and he's going to sing it for us. Okay, and we're going to feel it, and we're going to hear it. Okay, let's take a look. Right, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Right, I was trained as an Orthodox rabbi, and I love Christmas because, yeah, I understand the commercialization of Christmas, and I understand the consumerism of Christmas, and I understand how it's been hijacked in all the ways that it's been hijacked. And Christmas stands for the goodness of the human being. Christmas stands for the possibility of possibility. Christmas stands for the billion acts of kindness that ordinary human beings do every day. And the reason we can stand against the upgrading of algorithms and the downgrading of human beings is because human beings are glorious. Human beings are expressions, right, of the goodness, truth, and beauty of wonder and delight. Okay, so let's take a look. Silent night, holy night. All is calm, all is bright. Round young virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. So what is this about? And friends, let's go deep for a second. This notion of silent night is the dream of Metatron in the Hebrew wisdom tradition. And Metatron got translated into Christ. And Metatron means apotheosis. It means that the human being is, in Dante's phrase, a baby-faced divine. Not the God you don't believe in. The God you don't believe in doesn't exist. Not the God who is homophobic and ethnocentric and chauvinistic. Not that God. God, which is the spirit of goodness, truth, and beauty. God, which is hope. God, which is the possibility of possibility that inheres in us. God, which is the human being at her most noble, at her most tender, at her most beautiful, quivering joy, filled with Eros, right? God who is expressed as human hands and human possibility and human creativity and human capacity and human innovation and human joy and human tears. So this notion that actually God is born as the human being, that God is born, that God becomes Christed, that God becomes human, or said differently, that infinity itself desired to clothe itself in finitude. Finitude means the mortal, the limited. Infinity desired to clothe itself in finitude. God desired to be Christed. And there lives in the human being the virgin mother and child. In every human being, there's the virgin, meaning even after all of the pain, and even after all of the brokenness, and even after all of the trauma, we can re-virginate. We can access second innocence. The mother re-virginates. The mother is always holding that quality of compassion, that quality of love, and that quality of joy. And the mother lives in thee, and the mother lives in thee, and the mother lives in all of us. We're all the virgin. We're all the baby. We're all the mother. We're all the mother, and well, that's who we are. That's who we are. We're all the mother. We're all the virgin. We're all the baby. That's the first verse. The first verse is the birth of God as human being. When I realized actually I'm not just a skin encapsulated ego, I am divinity herself. I am a unique configuration of infinite desire. I'm a unique configuration of the infinity of intimacy that lives in me. And when you see the human being, when I look at you that way, when Avatar, we're going to talk about Avatar, the movie, next week and the week after. We're going to talk next week about Avatar 1 and the week after about Avatar 2 as new texts of culture. And the big line in Avatar is, I see you. Because love is not just an emotion, love is a perception. So take a look at the second verse, silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight. And so we look at each other and we say, oh my God, I see you. I'm blown open by your beauty. I'm blown open by your goodness. I'm blown open by the glories that stream from heavens afar and live in your face. Heavenly hosts singing in you, alleluia. And the only mistake that Christianity made was it limited this notion to Jesus. It's not just about Jesus the Christ. It's about you, the Christ, about every one of us in unique self-symphony, the Christ. We're all the Christed ones. We're all, right, expressions of silent night, holy night, son of God, daughter of God. We're all love's pure light with radiant beams moving from our holy faces, right? We all incarnate the dawn of redeeming grace in the third verse. We're all Jesus Lord at our birth. That's silent night. And in the melody that Jackson's about to sing, you can feel the virgin. You can feel the mother. You can feel the grace. And the reason you can feel it, because it is you and it is me. We need the democratization of the Christed one. We need to move from the elites and the gurus to the democratization of greatness, the democratization of enlightenment. Right? The Christed one becomes the unique self-symphony in which we each play our instrument. And we liberate that spark from Christianity and we bring it into the new world spirituality. And Jackson's going to come on now and he's going to liberate those sparks and he's going to sing for us. Super excited to welcome my friend Jackson to sing for us Silent Night.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight. Glory streams from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
Gorgeous, and Jackson's stunning. Give us again the first verse. And everyone, as Jackson gives us the first verse, write your prayer in the chat box, right? The feeling tone that comes through you. Is she talking as they? Jax, give us the first verse if you can, one more time gorgeously. Take us inside.
Just the first verse, right?
First verse, yes.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
Stunning. Amen. Thank you, beloved Jackson. And feel that, right? Feel that beauty. Feel the beautiful young man. Feel the words coming through him, right? Feel, right, the stunning moment. And look what people wrote in the chat box. And let's just read, right, just some of the prayers, right? Because these are all prayers, right? Right, as Jackson was singing, right? You can kind of feel praying for humanity to be blown open like this. I pray to visit humanity, right? I pray for peace for humanity to stay forever. Hope. I feel the goddess, right, oozing, right? Elena, every woman gives birth to God. I feel future generations empowered, tender. Ronen writes, I pray that we all see each other and all of us, Christ, each day, right? And all days. And just feel it, right? Feel it. I pray for peace and joy for the world, right? Rob, pray for the light coming in all the places in the universe. Merit, maybe we united in the way of water. Simone, I pray for joy alive and running the world. Holy, welcome. Claire, praying that Jax's voice mystically reaches the hearts of the people of the Ukraine. Now, I feel totally held in love. Jacob, perfect innocence. Medea, all of humanity experienced the grace of she, right? Jew, the miracle of us all, right? Gorgeous, right? Oh my God, right? Benjamin, Shahati, Carol, right? Merit, Ujis, I pray for love, right? Oh my God, right? Margie, I pray that we join and we edit this great library, right? And we make this revolution real. Oh my God, everyone. It's so wild to be together. It's so gorgeous, right? To be together. Jax, I pray for love and intimate connection for all, right? Suzette, I pray for more mothering and fathering for all. God's children. We are the Christ force. And we need sometimes to go into the temple and to turn over the money carts, right? And to challenge all that needs to be challenged, and to speak truth to power, and to become instruments of power ourselves in order to respond to this metacrisis. But we can't do it unless we stay connected to the eye of consciousness, to silent night, to holy night, young virgin mother and child, right? To the Christ that lives in us, so that we can actually have the capacity to light that candle when everyone says that we don't have resources to light it, right? To build that field when everyone says that it's not possible. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. We got to create this together. We got to create this unique self symphony, because that's what Gloria is all about. And we're going to do a last chant, and then Krista's going to tell us. I'm going to ask everyone, we're going to go for about just 4 or 5 more minutes. That's it. We're going to ask everyone just to kind of stay in and kind of feel the energy. And then Krista's going to very briefly just tell us how we can take a next step together. Friends, next week, we're going to be doing a special New Year's service. We're going to be reading a text of culture, Avatar 1. And the week after, I'm going to ask everyone to see Avatar 1 this week, and then Avatar 2 the week after, which just came out. But right now, let's feel what's called in the lineage kavod, K-A-V-O-D, and kavod is Gloria in excelsis Deo, right? And what Gloria is, and that song is about to come at you right now. And what kavod, what Gloria means is, in excelsis Deo, that we can access in our bodies, in our spirit, in our soul, as Krista Josepha sang before we started. I can feel it in my body, in my spirit, in my soul. I can feel in excelsis Deo. I can feel the highest degree of purity, of sincerity, of devotion, of joy, of ecstasy, right? That's available to me, that lives in my body. My body is wired for joy. My body is wired for pleasure, and pleasure is the source of all ethics. Know what gives you pleasure for real, not superficial pleasure, not surface pleasure. The opposite of the sacred is the superficial. Find what truly gives you pleasure, and you'll find your ethics. That's Gloria. That's in excelsis Deo. So it's about to come at you. Friends, who's ever putting on Gloria in excelsis Deo, let's feel it, let's play it, right? Let's dance it. And then Krista, you'll bring us home, right? Gloria, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Oh my God, Krista, tell us what to do. Lead us home.
Yay, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Marc Gafni. Thank us all for this beautiful journey that we made here today. And let's actually light those candles together right now. As we always say here, we are a band of outrageous lovers committing outrageous acts of love. So let's make sure together that with our outrageous acts of love, we reach the whole world with this amazing, beautiful joy and light that we share here together. So the invitation is, of course, to become a partner, to really step onto the field in this unique self-symphony and share the fullness of your heart, to become a partner, to become a stakeholder. And we do that by becoming a member of One Mountain, Many Paths, by making our contribution, by saying yes to this revolution. Yes, I care about this. Yes, I want to resource this beautiful home that we share here together. So you can do that by going to onemountainmanypaths.org, and I'm going to show you right now here on our website, onemountainmanypaths.org. If you click on the top here on partnership, you can read all about membership. Here you can see you can choose your own contribution. It starts from $25 a month, but please do give as much as you can. And most people are giving around $100 a month, which is really great. And thank you for doing that. And if you become a member, if you scroll down here, you can see everything that it includes, which is also these 9 beautiful courses, which is an amazing way to study the Dharma and embody the Dharma on your own. We also host study groups like Christina shared in the beginning. We're starting a new group together studying the book, A Return to Eros. There's just a lot of beautiful opportunities to meet each other, to be with each other, to be in the oozing joy of the Dharma together. So that is an amazing invitation for all of us. If you don't want to make a monthly contribution, if you click here, you can also make a one-time donation, and we're actually sharing that link in the chat box right now. So please do give to this revolution if you can right now. And thank you for doing that. One other thing that I want to celebrate here today is that we actually launched and published this amazing book, Glory to the Heroes. If you are here already for a while, you remember maybe that in the beginning of this year, we did a series on Ukraine, where Dr. Marc Gafni was speaking about in the first 4 weeks of Ukraine. And then Elena picked that up and she worked with that material. She edited it into this beautiful book, and she actually added a chapter of her own on it. And now we can proudly say, with the whole team of One Mountain and with all of our help contributing to it, this book is now on Amazon, and you can actually download it for free, as you can see, in the next 5 days. Amazon only allows a 5-day free offering, so it's only for 5 days, but please do download it, enjoy it, read it. But also, if you scroll down here, you can see right here, you can click write a customer review, and please do that. Share it with the world how much you love this work and the Dharma and these sense-making sessions, and in particular, of course, this book really helps.
Just to say one thing, Krista led the charge, right, to create this book and to put this book together. Krista, together with Elena, and blew it away. Elena blew it away, and they were just fantastic and gorgeous. And really just invite everyone to really write a review, right? The book is unbelievably important. Elena's work, right? What we said, right? The call to what democracy needs to be and to what it's not, and the possibility. So Krista, Elena, just gorgeous, brilliant. We're all in your debt and just madly appreciating and honoring you.
Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Thank you. And it was such a joy, as always, to create together in this unique self-symphony. Always a pleasure. So thank you. With that, I want to close us. We always end here with a beautiful revolutionary dance party to celebrate this revolution in our bodies. So we're going to close with the song, We Are the People. And while we play that song, we will invite everyone to what is called Promote as Panelists. So if you click OK, you will be able to turn on your camera, which is a beautiful pleasure, because then we get to see each other on the screen while we dance, and we'll see each other on the other side to say our goodbyes. Thank you so much. We are the people we've been waiting for.